Yes, yes. Good night. Good night, everyone. I hope the mic, everything's set up. It's a special JAMPL live that I'm doing because, as you can see in the background, normally we do a JPL player of the season. We normally do it in like 4 or 5 episodes. But because of the Reggae Boys last month, we really have time. I think we'll have time to do 4 or 5 videos. So let's do a live show. This way we can even get you guys who are watching to comment on who you think is the 2024-2025 player of the season, as well as what's probably we're gonna go through other categories like the goalkeeper, defender, best midfielder, and best forward. So that's the idea. That's the plan tonight. Mr. Try wait till more people streaming a bit. I hope that this is the first time I use this mic and setup. I hope the audio is coming through clean. And we'll soon get started fully. But yeah, man, that's the idea tonight. I go do basically a list. We have a list of basically a category of 5 nominees for each category. And we are going basically this list, in my opinion, the best players in each category from goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and forward. So anybody here, let me know if the audio is all right. We are seeing on screen because I don't normally do these kind of live shows, but sometimes I just do a thing. Let's make and share the link around. And media connection problem. That's just good. Thank you, Flo. Let's share the link, people. Hold on. All right. So, we'll get started, people, with, the 7 you guys here. So, we're going to start with the goalkeepers. And the first offset, I'm going to play this in the background. Yeah, so we'll kick off things, mate. We're going goalkeepers this time. Last year, the goalkeepers, the standard of goalkeeping step up big time last year. I was very impressed with majority of what the league offered, and I was happy to see the direction where the goalkeeping going. This year, we feel that the league's take a step back, and as a former goalkeeper myself, I just feel that the goalkeeping standard really dropped this time, going backwards. So that's an unfortunate problem, but we still have 5 people who want to get through in this category. We think are the best goalkeepers, really. Because last year, as you can see on screen, I had the likes of SHAQUAN Davis, and he was my goalkeeper of the year last year. And we kind of to see how they fare this time. We do have stats on how much minutes they played, how much games they played, but we don't have any clean sheets. But goalkeeping is more than just almost clean sheet you have, because that have to depend on how well your defenders really do, as well as sometimes how your defensive midfield shield at back four. So goalkeeping in this category really gonna look at how well I think these players come on their box, how well I think they were good at shot stopping, of course, and how well I think they organized that defense in front of them. So that's the idea I'm gonna try to go with. So I'll go start with my first nominee. Almost stop this, so hold on. All right, we're going to try to find SHAQUAN Davis. I'm going to be the first nominee, which kind of seems like the easier call, really. Let's try to bring up him stats here, people. Where is he now? All right. The record boy himself, SHAQUAN Davis. As you can see here, so he played 27 matches at 2,265 minutes. And as I said, we're down the record at all and almost clean sheet, but we do know he broke the record for the most in one season, which was 18. I don't think he kept one after that. I think he was stuck at 18 towards the end of the season, can never play much. But he was my choice for best goalkeeper last year, and I'll stick with him this time for be a nominee out of the 5 so far for this year best goalkeeper. Again, as I said, clean sheet alone don't really mean nothing when you have good solid defense. And More Pleasant had one of the best defense this year. Big up, Travis. It's a wonder bonus the player of the season for you. I'll get to that, Travis. Hold on, Travis. I'll get to that, boss. But I start with the goalkeepers, because the goalkeepers have get them duty, As a former goalkeeper myself, it's like, apart from one award, it hardly say a goalkeeper win player of the year. But I pick the best goalkeeper first. Big up on scene, big up. Yeah, man, I try a thing with the live stream, but because I not have time for the 5 videos breaking down the best players this season, unfortunately. The regular boys take up way too much time. Many people them come in. I said, don't start it yet. All right, me send some link. I really want to stay at the whole night this though now. I want to stay the whole night because one thing, let me know how the audio good, because a new mic may I use, so I'm not sure how the audio go. Straight up in it. I did, my boss. In fact, forward on the show. You can forward on the show. Come like your input or you think are the best goalkeepers. Travis, you want to forward on the show as well? Yeah, let me see this now. Big up, Lawson. Big up. Yo, listen, Lawson, you always support the thing, so bless him, my father. And recipe the Diego Jota. Yo, why? When I want to get off topic, but the Diego Jota thing, why sometimes football can be sad moments now. Can you imagine 11 days after the man get married, 3 pitney, 3 dog, win couple trophy, and drop out. Can give you 15 minutes. And see no. Travis, you can forward to? To the link them, boss. So we'll discuss best goalkeeper, myself, best defender, best midfielder, best attacker, and then we'll crown the overall best player. Travis run out already by thinking Wonder Brown and player of the season, but we'll get to there. So I was saying about SHAQUAN in the meanwhile. Up Juros, big up. So yeah, all right, let me see, Auntie Reach.
There, man, there. Good?
Yeah, man, but there, man, what have I seen? I was at the point of your show, yeah, and you're following the point mine.
Yeah, me love this. Me I say, as me see me have to come. I have to stop everything when me have to come on.
Yeah, man. But I got send an invite, but I'm never sure if I'm able to do this. Because as I said, I normally do like 5 videos I cover the awards, really. So I just try to knock it out in one live stream tonight and get the people like Juros and Travis the voting. So I was saying goalkeeper of the year, and the first nominee we have is SHAQUAN Davis. Have any comment on how he performed this season?
I think he performed well. I think, a lot of people may say that, that the goalkeeper took his game, but I don't think it was because of his performance. I think it was because maybe some misunderstanding or disciplinary issue. Apart from that, he had 16 clean sheets record.
I think 18.
So
I think the record was 17 and 18 of them, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I think he's a sure winner in my opinion.
All right, so you have nobody else you want to nominate, sir? Let's get the nominees out of the way first before.
It's hard to put somebody against him with that record there. Where you going to put him?
So you're going basically solely based on the clean sheet record.
Not only that, you see the type of shots he saves against Racing and other teams. It's not a keeper save them type of shot there in a competition.
Okay, boss. So, but again, it's a goalkeeper. You're a goalkeeper too, so it's more than MJ there. MJ there. Why should I listen? MJ. If you can forward, eventually MJ forward, man. Yeah, and seen goalkeeping more than just shot stopping though. So what you think about him? How in terms of him command in box and organize the defense in front time?
Yeah, that's why he got 18 clean sheet, because he's doing those different things that will add up to the clean sheet. Remember, clean sheet just don't come like that. You have to other stuff to get the clean sheet in terms of communicating with the back line, commanding your box, stuff like that, blocking shots. That's why you get clean sheet. They just don't get clean sheet because the defense line is good only.
All right, true. That's why you have to give the goalkeepers them credit. But when they want also bring up this as well. What do you think about the standard of goalkeeping this season compared to last season overall in the league?
Well, I think last season was more competitive. We have Vino Barkley keeping right through the season, keeping well. Most of the goalkeepers this time, them inform, them drop off, and then when you look at SHAQUAN just was up here against higher than everybody else and just gone with it. Injuries as well for some of the veteran goalkeepers like the Waterhouse goalkeeper, who is really good, and he was out. Young goalkeepers came in for their first time getting experience, which is good as well for the league. But I think the coming season we'll see some really good goalkeeping from goalkeepers. But a little bit, in terms of quality, you had one person or maybe two person at a high level, and then dropping down a little bit, then you have the rest.
So you bring up a good point. We did have more young keepers this year, so I guess we can't fight the dropping quality too much. As you mentioned, Waterhouse, they lost them captain, and then Pusai have to take over for the majority of the season. He did well, but you can see that most of these young keepers still have some issues going forward for now, like the experience and all that. MG says significant. Oh, wait, I'm not saying we can highlight MG. I'm saying significantly better than normal in regards to goalkeeper overall. MG, you think the goalkeeping better than last year? Because I thought last year goalkeeping step up big time. You know? So on that note, we want to move on to my second nominee, which is Roger Williams of Arnett Gardens. And again, we don't have the clean sheet in terms of stats, but in terms of game played, he only played 17. So I almost never have him on the list, you know. But I felt that in those 17 games he played, he was very good with not only shot stopping, but the ball at his feet. Unfortunate end to the season for him, but I thought he was really good this year when he came over from Veer and he got a starting role. But it was weird this year, and it used 5 goalkeepers. I never saw that happen in any team in any league yet. Most clubs use young goalkeepers this year. Yeah, MG, but them use mostly young keepers, but does that itself might be a reason why the standard never good as last year. I thought more veterans were really good last year, and no, we felt it's step back this year. Like we're glad young keepers getting a chance, you know. Because we're talking about Arnett right now. I thought Jonathan Wall when he came in was really good. So I'm happy to see more young keepers that get a chance in the league. Antine is still there?
Yeah, man, I'm there, man. I just mute because to the fan them close to me, I'm there on my paper.
Yeah, man.
But
So
yeah,
the second nominee, Roger Williams.
Yeah, can nominate him. I think he was, one of the time he was really doing well, getting some clean sheets, and even though him not getting a clean sheet, he make some good saves in the games and stuff like that. And then I don't know what went wrong. Him just start laps and some easy goals start scoring him. Then end him season get ended abruptly, and so on. But it's good, as I say, young keepers get an opportunity. And we love that. We want to see more of that this season as well.
You mentioned the team was in laps, but I think that's because, again, Arnett rotate them keepers so much. As a goalkeeper, you kind of want this, you kind of just want like being steady and playing to keep the rhythm. And Arnett used 5 goalkeepers this year. I mean, just never said that before. So what do you think about that factor? I was why him drop off a bit.
Well, that can be a factor because you're not much. When you're sharing. Well, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because if you look at Mount Pleasant, 18 games and you leave and then the other keeper come in and start keep well. You understand me? Chambers came in and did a good job as well. You understand me? End up get called up in the national team. So at the end of the day, a keeper have to always keep himself sharp. There is no excuse.
All right, true. Your boy Thibaut Abito comment here. He said, besides Portmore goalkeeper, Arnett goalkeepers, and Cavalier goalkeepers, last season the rest were pretty bad. I think that's kind of harsh. I don't think they were bad. I just think they had some severe lapses sometimes in some crucial games. What do you think about that comment there, Unseen?
So it's Portmore. Well, but but that's what I'm most of the time, We don't really have all the goalkeepers in the league punch at the same level. We maybe have a 5 or 6 that is really at the big level. Yeah. So last year though you have Bino Barkley, you have SHAQUAN Davis again last year doing well. You have the young goalkeeper from Arnett that's from usually play for Dintil. Get national call up as well. He was doing well from Arnett as well. You have the Portmore goalkeeper doing well. So, I mean, some good goalkeeping last year from the top teams. Tivoli goalkeeper was doing better than what he did last season still. Yeah.
Which way you talk? Which the starting Hartney you talking?
I think it was the second stream one was starting. He was doing way better than the 2 of them combined this season.
Clark?
Remember last season, Tivoli was a top team, man.
Yeah, man.
And not because of scoring goals, I said that they were good defensively,
Yeah, but
how about him? Mount Pleasant only could have scored 1 goal on them or something like that. You understand?
Mm-hmm. And this year, I think
And
it
you know,
was
it was the two goalkeeper keeping to last season. The two goalkeeper keeping to last season. You know, them
this
rotate
season.
them.
This season, you said them take a step back.
But this season, I don't know what kind of cool them I drink, but something go wrong.
But I can tell you, said the coach wasn't too happy with the goalkeepers. But again, Tivoli did well to come in the playoff at least. All right, so that was Roger Williams as the second nominee. Now move on to some MJ I got happy about because the next two nominees are from the same club. Let me see if we can bring up the stats for the first one here. Benjamin Williams is the next one I have on the list, who is a national goalkeeper now because he got the call up, which surprised a lot of people. Again, he didn't play much because he had to share the time in the limelight. But in the few 14 games he played, he was very good, especially in terms of shot stopping. I heard he was pretty good with his feet as well, from what I watched, but never exactly see that part of the game that's special. But in terms of shot stopping, I thought he was excellent. What your take on Benjamin Williams? And seeing it, they got. Let's read his comment in MU. And Travis Presser said Devonnie Burton for MU was good too. How much game he played, Travis? I think he played like just towards the end, like 6 games. Not get much game, 6 games and then the playoff. So for kind of put him in the top 5, he can at least have to play at least. Well, Benjamin played 14, so probably a cutoff point. He was good for the few games still. But yeah, until Unseen come back, I said, yeah, Benjamin Williams, I felt, deserve a spot in the top 5. The coaches really like him in the national program, so he must do something well to get the call up. And the games I saw, as a shame, MG seemed that he's not in a group because I'm a Portmore fan. I love to hear him take and Benjamin Williams. But so what Peter said. Or 1v1, he was really good and he was comfortable with his legs as well and decent in penalties. Yep, yeah. It kind of curious though. This is back-to-back season that when him play well, but he never locked down the number 1 spot. Really, you know, it always seemed to be another goalkeeper. Last year, Ty Williams ahead of him, and this season it was Russell in front of him. But when him play, him look really good. So that maybe not for both a different club and play as the number 1 to really see what he can do going forward. But yeah, man, so now Benjamin Williams as the 3rd nominee as best goalkeeper of the season. Unseen, you're there? Unseen drop out, unfortunately. All right, so let's move forward. Travis, you don't want to come on the live or you're at work, my boss? But yeah, man, so Benjamin Williams, we're going to move on to the 4th nominee what we're going to have now, which are the same club. So we can bring up the stats quickly. Daniel NICKLYE Russell. And to be honest, I think between the two Portmore goalkeepers, I thought Russell was the better one. So I was not surprised he got the starting nod in the playoffs as well. Portmore had one of the best defensive records this season, and a lot of it come down to how well Russell was at stopping shots and everything this season. It was especially good, I felt, when it come off his line and clipping balls in the box. So we have to give Russell in props. It's a shame we can't tell it almost clean sheet, but again, Portmore was one of the meanest defense, so I feel Russell get a good clock at that. What did I say? SHAQUAN, number 1 should go to either SHAQUAN, Vino, and Montego Bay goalkeeper. All right, but I tell you to be honest truth, I don't have Vino Bartlett in the top 5. Now let's get that out of the way. I thought Vino for the majority of the season wasn't nowhere near his best. We saw his best towards the playoff. The playoffs is where you got the best of Vino. And the Caribbean Cup is as in best years as well. But in terms of the regular season, yeah, man, he never look at shut himself in the regular season. But I guess him just there try rest up for the playoff. So when I really have Vino Bartlett in the top 5 this year. He was there last year, but not this time. But so Peter, waiting about Russell though. You know, rate Russell because as I said to you, more defensive record or a lot to Russell, you know, as well as Williams. But yeah, man. So Russell, I'm saying 24 games, 2,128 minutes. No records, of course, in terms of clean sheet, but he play a lot, and he was stellar, I felt. So I'm going to move on to the 5th one before we can crown the best goalkeeper. And this one I got shocked some people a bit, I think. I mean, maybe a bit too controversial with this one. Try to bring up his stats. Anybody who deal with the JPL website, and it can do a search function. You can want to search for a player and find player. So they are pass his name. When I say Holmes in a list, oh God. Ah, we pass it, yes. Yeah. All right. Carl Holmes, 21 matches, 1,754 minutes. No record and clean sheet, but as you can see, 4 yellow card and 2 red card. So I'm gonna be honest with you. The first round, Holmes was by far, I think, was the best goalkeeper in the first round. He was that good. Towards midway of the second round and third round, him losing way a bit, and that's probably why Swearing came in and be the number 1 after that. But Holmes in that first round, people, I'm not sure I can find the highlights, or I can't find highlights here for copyright. But that Waterhouse game, that first game, Racing versus Waterhouse, it was one of the best striker versus goalkeeper battles I saw in this league when Bygrave wants to have like 8 good chance and Holmes just a find a way for to step him out of the goal. One we can play any highlights of that. Hold on. I know I'm gonna risk the copyright, but yeah, and from there he was just superb for the rest of the first round. I really don't know what happened to him in the new year. He cannot get more red card, like he come up in line recklessly and get a lot of red cards and some yellow cards and all that. A bit of some easy goals that crept in. So it was hard to pick between him and Inel from Montego Bay, the Trinidadian, for that 5th and final nominee spot. But just because of how strong Holmes was in that first round, we decided to give him the last nominee. So as in terms of those 5 nominees, I call them again: SHAQUAN Davis, Roger Williams, Benjamin Williams, Daniel Russell, and Carl Holmes. The goalkeeper of the year, I felt, of this season just gone, is Toby Bassi is an easy choice again, but I think SHAQUAN Davis is the goalkeeper of the year. Again, I said it, you know, he was slightly, to me, he was better last year, but I still think he was the best goalkeeper this year. Yeah, you know, you don't normally break a record, a 20-odd-year-old record in the league for clean sheet and not end up being one of the best goalkeepers. So I think him deserve it. And it's a shame like the league, they really do a recognition like for players at the end of the year for game like I'm never sure if he got the golden gloves for getting the most clean sheet. We see Warner Bros get the golden boots. I'm not sure goalkeepers get golden gloves, you know, it's not like that. But yeah, I can't find him right or no. But yeah, man, SHAQUAN, I felt, I say he had the save of the season. Yeah, man, that save there, leaving in the memory. Yeah, that save was one of the best I've seen as well. In the last couple of years in the JPL. But it was more than that. I felt this whole him come on in box as Unseen was saying before he had to leave and how him did everything else. I felt he was by far the goalkeeper of the year. So just like last year, I gave him last year, I gave him this year. Probably need to try and leave the league now and move on. Maybe even USL. I think one good way to do that now if he shows up in the Caribbean Cup and start up that, he might go move on to that. But congrats, SHAQUAN. You're the JAMPL goalkeeper of the year again, just like last year. So we're gonna move on to the defenders now. And he was very good with his feet. Yep. Saw that in the Jamaica game against Trinidad as well. When he come out and box and dash with 2 youth and pass the ball well. So yeah, so I think he earned his spot in the national team. But in terms of JPL, yeah, man, he was easily the best goalkeeper. Unfortunate end to him season, of course, coming into the playoffs, the shootout, and he couldn't really carry more players across the line. But yeah, that's like he win one already anyway. All right, in terms of defenders, I was saying, Muslim can find the first defender quickly. In terms of the standard of defending, some people said it stepped up this season, right? I'm not 100% sure about that, but these defenders I felt was really some of the best. It's quite hard to find these players on this website sometimes. There it is. So if there's an award for the most improved player, but I probably get this guy, Joel Jones. Played 26 matches, 2,075 minutes, 4 goals, and 1 assist. He made 11 shots, and 6 of them were on target. 5 yellow card, no red card. But before we get to the goal scoring part of it, Jones, I felt was one of the reasons why Arnett defense was so improved from last year. And I was always on it big issue, is that the defending is never seemed the best. And they will score a lot of goals, but the defense always let them down. It felt like Gilbert worked out the balance a bit better this season. One of the reasons why is that Jude Jones was partnered there with, first it was Dwyer and then Wing came in to partner Jones. So when Jones was at his best, the Arnett defense looked immense. So I have to give him a nomination here because it is a shame as well, just like some of these other players that towards the end of the season, him pick up an injury and he never really catch up to speed again after he come back from the injury. But I'm still have to give him props for being one of the best defenders this season. I think he's better than the JPL. Him and Vina Bartlett should leave the league and look out for Phoenix goalkeeper or former Phoenix goalkeeper Akeem Bernard. Yeah, SHAQUAN, playing in the Unity Cup, and as I said to you, playing the Unity Cup, and then if he really stand out in the Caribbean Cup, I think that's where you see a lot of these JPL players, if you really want to lead the league, that's where you have to try stand out, because there's a lot of scouts and a lot more international eyes are on that part of things, so they have to really just show off the Caribbean Cup this upcoming season, and maybe if you can go all the way to the CONCACAF Champions Cup and maybe play against Messi or somebody like that again and start up there, MLS or USL or Eastern European team will come in for SHAQUAN. Vina Bartlett, though, he really re-signed for Cavalier, so he like him sticking around for at least 1 more year. But yeah, they're good enough to play overseas. Akeem Bernard, I'm high on everybody know Poseidos. Everybody know the talent and the ceiling man. If Kemar come back though, he might have relegated again to the bench this season, which would be a shame because I think the minutes did him well last year. Yo, big up, Bam, big up. The real start of the off season of the JPL, you know, a lot of these off season news is straight from this man. Bam, can you forward on the show? You can send the link here for the show. Okay, you know your insight as usual when it comes to these things like this, you know, like our award ceremony is greatly appreciated. Let me know. But get back to the defenders. I was saying, yeah, Joel Jones, just how he is on the ball as well. I felt he was one of the more composed defenders in the league as well. So more than this how he did in terms of ground duels. Oh yeah, that dropped something on the show. Me away from the message thread. Iron boss. About some news here. All right. As soon as the forward, yeah, man. But yeah, Joel Jones, one of the top 5 defenders. I think anybody can argue how improved it was this season and how much it really helped that on defense line. Again, it's a shame to get injured and never really get back to his best towards the end. You know, but we can't wait to see what he's going to do this season. If he continue at that route, he'll probably come to the league as well. Boom, shell transfer about to happen. No one saw this coming. Brian, if I can bust this now for real, now, Brian. But now, like, we kind of intrigued to know what you're talking about now, myself. I stop the award ceremony just to hear the what going. Yeah, so the off season hot up. Here are some rumors transfers myself, you know, but you know, if we till the great Bomb Sports confirm some big transfers are supposed to go down. So yeah, man, as soon as you have to wait for the text first. All right. Hopefully it comes soon. But I'm saying, I mean, while they can forward on top of the best defenders and stuff, you know, if you want the boss. Send me a link. See there when you're ready still, isn't it? All right, so we'll move on. So yeah, Joel Jones, one of the top 5 in the league. I'll move on to the next nominee, the best defender. And it's a reggae boy, a current reggae boy who was part of that Gold Cup squad. I know most of you guys are not too happy with the Gold Cup squad right now, but in terms of the JPL, this man was by far one of the best defenders this season. Kyle Ming. No surprise, he was great last year for Cavalier. You know, I was surprised Cavalier let him go, but you know, Mo Pleasant has the dollars. And immediately step in and play a key figure in a top of Whitmore's team. 37 matches, so he didn't really miss much. 3,319 minutes, 3 goals, 1 assist, 15 shots. 7 of those on target, 9 yellow cards, but no red card. So yeah. And he did this doing 2 roles. You have to play right back and you have to play center back. And in both positions, him just look a class above some of his peers. And of course, he is part of that great defense Mo Pleasant had this season. They had the best defensive record for a reason. And Kyle Ming, regardless if he plays center back or right back, was a standout. No surprise. I personally, well, I shouldn't say it's not a surprise. I was a little bit surprised when Steve McLaren called him up, but I won't argue saying never deserve it because we were short and full box at the time. So I understand what Steve McLaren was trying to do because he was trying to have a hybrid player to cover right back and center back because we were a bit short in Unity Cup. He get 45 minutes in Unity Cup. Some people cuss him dog rotten, say he was horrible in that 45 minutes. I thought for his first game at this kind of grand stage in the Unity Cup, he did well because Nigeria had some real world-class attackers. I think he was up against Chukwuemeka, which is the AC Milan winger, which is a world-class is a world-class winger that, and he held him well enough for us to get that 2-2 draw. So me not be calming. And in terms of this season, as I said, more pleasant, one of the best. Either at right back or centre back, easily part of the top 5 in the league, and that's why he's part of the nominees right here. All right, Bum. Bernard is a water. That's that's what I tell him. Albeit a former Phoenix goalkeeper. There's no a lot of bad blood between those guys, no, really. So they want to associate Bernard with Phoenix right now. But yeah, he's a Waterhouse goalkeeper, and it'd be interesting to see if he can dislodge Kemar for the #1 spot at Waterhouse this season. I think the coaching setup there saying they want to go younger and younger for Waterhouse now, so he might get the start. But Kemar are the club captain, so we'll see how it go. All right, so Kyle Ming, as I said, second nominee. We'll move on to somebody who was just as good and played alongside him in that back line. So we can find him here. They need a search function for this, I swear. Find him. Another reggae boy who played against Trinidad and Tobago, Fitzroy Cummins. I also thought him looked much better this season compared to last season. Not to say he was poor last season, but it's like in game step up a bit, especially on the ball. I felt he looked so composed on the ball this year compared to last year. And it was no surprise that he make it into that Jamaica team. He was very good in the playoffs as well, especially that game against Mobay, of course. If it wasn't for him, Mount Pleasant would have a tough time beating Montego Bay. He had 28 matches, 2,579 minutes. No goals from him though, which sometimes can be disappointing, but that's his #1 job. 2 shots, 1 on target, 5 yellow cards, no red card. So pretty clean tackles him normally do. But again, the big part in game this time that stepped up, I felt, was him on the ball and in ball possession and ball progression and all of that. So Fitzroy Cummins is the 3rd nominee as Defender of the Year. No surprise, it's 2 more pleasant defenders in this, because I'm going to say they have the best defensive record. And we have to move on to the 4th nominee now. Right, which is the only person from, hold on. Some people might not agree with this one, but I'll explain. As soon as I find him, here he is. Josiah Tribenham is my 4th nominee for Defender of the Year. Of course, when you see him, you know he's going to win most physical duels, but he's actually surprisingly decent across the pitch in terms of speed and in terms of reading the game. He was one of the best in the league this season, especially when he was playing under Zapata. I think he looked more comfortable playing under the style of Zapata than he did under Tigat. But still towards the end in that playoff match against Mount Pleasant, he still was looking good. Still slightly want to beat the entire Mount Pleasant Montego Bay defense for that goal and makes Celestine score upon them. But generally speaking, he was one of the best by far this season. Let me see, he had 38 games, 3,432 minutes. So he played a lot of matches. 1 goal, 10 shots, only 12. One of those were on target. Only 1 yellow card, but he picked up a red card though. So normally, his discipline was good, but I'm trying to remember that red card he got. I remember that red card. But 1 yellow card through the entire season. I played so much minutes, 38 games. Yeah, man. elite defender in our league, I feel. So Josiah Shrimingham is the fourth one, and I got to the fifth and final defender of the year, or nominee, I should say. As a person I feel is severely underrated in this country, or at least in the league. And I really hope people start paying attention to him, especially since he was part of that Unity Cup squad. Stephen Young. Again, I shame MJ in there because MJ rate this ball, but man, Stephen Young was great last year, and he might at least match it again this year in the field. Excellent. Excellent in the air. It's hard to lose that aerial duel, and I think he got better on not only the ball at his feet, but his ground duels as well this season. So again, it makes sense that he get called up to the national team because Steve McLaren is keeping an eye on some of these players, and he need to make the next step now. How old is he again? 2001. So he's 24. So, you think this is a moment for him to try move on from the league now, I feel. But yeah, Portmore had the second best defensive record, and a lot of it was down to Stephen Young. So you have to give him props, man. One goal from him disappointing though, because he normally had threat in the air and scored more than that last year. But on the Austin, I guess they play a little bit different. But yeah, man, so those are the 5 defenders for Defender of the Year. I'm going to call them again: Joel Jones, Kyle Ming, Fitzroy Cummins, Josiah Shrimingham, and Stephen Young. Anybody else don't want to add to that? Who barely missed out on this list. You understand? Markovich Brown barely missed out because I thought Markovich Brown, when he got a chance to play, was still as well, but injury really robbed him from a peak season. And probably if he can stay fit next season, he's gonna be up there again. So honorable mention of go to Markovich Brown. When he play, Racing is a completely different team, much harder to beat. So but I have him, he just barely miss out. But these other guys were more consistent and play more games. So I think it was fair to have this top 5. All right, but in terms of who is the defender of the year, according to me, JAMPL, I have to give Kyle Ming the best defender of the year. Again, not just because he was part of the best, he was a key part of that back line of the best defensive record in the league, and he did it playing both defensive positions of right back and centre back. So when anybody have any objection to that, can challenge that, I think Kyle Ming, as you can see, maybe get called up to the national team because of his performances. He's 2024, 2025 Jamaica Premier League Defender of the Year. So big up yourself, Kyle Ming. If them they have a league awards where we media people can vote for it, it'll be good to have introduce something like that this season. I'm trying to talk to the JPL leaders on that, but it's nothing to come to fruition yet. But anyway, my own award, I'll give Kyle Ming Defender of the Year. So I'm going to move on to what is probably the hardest part now, which is the midfield. And I'm going to start with the first nominee for Midfielder of the Year. Yeah, let me. Brian, you can hear me still? All right. Let's continue for now because we're not sure what to the camera. Camera decided to, yeah, we'll jump out of this. I thought Keynote Simpson actively was good as well. Yeah. Him and Barton Price, I felt were good as well, to be honest. But they weren't consistent enough. If you remember Tivoli in that first round, they struggled a bit. And then because the league counts the playoff when it comes to the golden boot, I have to count the playoff performances as well. And I don't think they were all that stellar in the playoffs either. So, but he had a good season. So I'm gonna fight Keno Simpson at all. All right. So yeah, man. So I was saying Lucas Lima. Why my camera not coming back? Anyway, let's go without that. Yeah. So Lucas Lima, as I was saying, big player in a mobile team. And then when Tiga came in, Tiga did something interesting in moving up to a number 8 position and have him eye up the pitch and have DeMar Phillips play the 6. And we saw a different side of Lucas' game where he went and hunting the ball further up the pitch. We saw him more as a goal threat up that side. So I felt that alone they show how good he was on both sides in both positions. So I forget Lucas Lima are not here in the top 5 midfielder of the year. So I'm going to move on to the next nominee. There's not much time left here, guys. All right, let me see if we can find. There's another national team player, of course. Just to give a hint. The one and only Sean Anglin. Again, another player felt stepped up compared to last year. He was very good last year. Felt it was a better this year. 37 matches, and hardly missed anything. 2,880 minutes, 3 goals, including one very good solo one against Arnett, if you guys can remember that one there. 25 total shots, 11 those were on target. These are the part of the game. Aim Africa try start out. 10 yellow cards, 3 red cards. Same discipline, it could have hold him back a bit, I feel it. But apart from that, let me tell you the mic gone. Something okay. The mic has come back now. Yes, another excellent season for Joshua Anglin, better than last year. And again, it easily see why Steve McLaren liked him and chose him to be in the squad based on his performance last year. Kind of disappointed in him and most of the more present team really in the Caribbean Cup last year. That's a bigger stage. So hopefully this year show in class and step up more and do some damage there. So, but for now, I'm part of the top 5 best midfielder this year. So I'm going to move on to another player from Pomar who's also severely underrated in this league as the next nominee for midfielder of the year. And that is the one and only Seagull Knight. In terms of another good defensive midfielder, something the national team will have an issue in terms of the pool. We have some decent ones in the league. And I'm saying them should make it into the international team. They're saying hopefully one day we can produce 1 and 2 international caliber, at least starting out their career here in the league. But Seagull Knight was very good again. He was good last year. I feel it was even better under Austin tutelage this time. He played 24 matches, 1,659 minutes. So in minutes, could have been a little bit better. No goals, no assists, 9 shots, 2 on target. And look at the discipline again, only 3 yellow cards in those 24 games. But even better in that in the playoffs, he was actually one of them best players as well, especially that first leg against Cavalier. So I'm gonna just offer give a nod here in terms of the top 5 midfielders. There's a player most people really do pay attention to, and hopefully based on this kind of videos like this, what I'm doing, more people watching game more closely next season. So yeah, man, so Seagull Knight as the 3rd nominee for best midfielder of the year. But we'll go from one of, well, not a veteran, but one of the older players to one excited up and coming player. I think everybody that talk about throughout the entire season. And the only real number 10 in my list. Because I don't know, this year was a step back for the playmakers, you know. Playmakers didn't really do so well this year. Let me find him. No, and where's the number 10, of course? Young NICKLYE ELLIS. A man people were begging to be in part of that national team. People were upset when them see a person like, well, no, I'm not cause an issue, but they wanted Ellis in that Trinidad matchups in February and never get through then. And then after that, he like him took it personal, him start ball out even more after those Trinidad games and end the season at an even greater heights than how he started. And people were hoping he would be part of Unity Cup. There were rumors that they got these papers for him sorted out, and I guess he was one of the standbys to in case we needed more midfielders to go to England. It never worked out. But if he continues playing like he did last season, or even improve, if he improves this season again, he won't be in the JPL long. I'm saying he had 39 games and played wholly 3,190 minutes, 10 goals. I'm not sure how accurate this is. I think no, he has more than 1 assist. I guarantee he had more than 1 assist. So according to the website, he only had 1 assist, but he had 10 goals, 27 shots, 13 those are on target, only 1 yellow card. And the thing about it, is that the first part of the season, I felt Anthony Patrick was playing him a bit too deep, like he played him as like a number 8. And as soon as he was pushed up forward to be a number 10, in game is take off from there. So we can't wait to see how much improved he is this season. And it's interesting, more pleasant, but big from Racing just the other day. And I heard for a long time that they wanted Ellis, so I'm not sure that's going to come to fruition. I'm not sure Racing will let go them 2 best players to more pleasant like that in 1 off season. But if he stays at Racing, he will be the main number 1 again, the main guy again to lead their attack. And we can't wait to see how much improve this season. So Ellis is one of the nominees for best midfielder of the year. I got another severely underrated player in this league after that. And he is, he's the first player from the champions, which is interesting in itself. I have here there you go. Dwayne Allen, severely underrated. The engine that Allen has, we can't see anybody matching the stamina and the continuous running, the continuous box-to-box performance that Allen gives in this league. is a reason why Busquets came to him and gave him in jersey after the Miami match, because Allen consistently was just that good. 2 years running now, but it was even better this season. And he does it on the international stage in the CONCACAF, and he does it here in the league as well. So after Allen as the 5th nominee as midfielder of the year, 39 matches. So despite the constant back and forth, up and down, pressing and running, box to box, he still don't really get injured often. 2,826 minutes, 1 goal. This is the only weak area I feel him have. He needs to score more. 3 assists, 11 shots. Again, he needs to stack that up. 3 on target. 10 yellow cards. But again, his game is to hunt you down and try win the ball back. So he will get those yellow cards. So 10 yellow cards, no red cards. So just like I feel his partner in crime in the midfield, Watson, is also underrated, but Allen is flying under the radar, and I forgive him props for this one. So I have to include him in our top 5 midfielder of the year. So all right, guys. So that's the 5 midfielders. We have Lucas Lima, Jashan Anglin, Siegel Knight, Michael Ellis, and Dwayne Allen. No, this was a hard choice for me for pick out of those 5. And it really come close. As I said to you, Ellis was very good. Jashan Anglin was very good. But I'm going to give Lucas Lima the edge as the best midfielder of the season. I think it's because the sheer consistency, Lima was better, and in terms of you compare it to Anglin, you come to the disciplinary side of things, he was better. Even going forward, he was decent. Anglin probably picked up a bit there in terms of going forward, but Lima showed that he have an eye for goal too. So his overall game under the 2 coaches, under Zapata and then under Tigat, he never looked like he never faltered and played at the same high standard. So I still have to give Lucas Lima my midfielder of the year award. So big up yourself, Lima. I'm not sure if he's back for this season. It would be good to keep some international talent in the league though. So I hope him and Claudio is still here. But yeah, man, Lima had a monster season. And interesting enough, him have a good if he plays that number 6 role under Xavier Gilbert, it probably suits him even better, because the style that Xavier Gilbert like to play, we feel him gonna shine probably more this season. But yeah, man, big up Richard Edwards, big up myself, big up the boss. Thanks for joining in. So we just reached near the end now, picking the best player of the season. We just had the best midfielder, which was Lucas Lima. Best defender was Kyle Ming, and best goalkeeper was SHAQUAN Davis. So I'll go to the part most people rate now, which is the best striker. I'm going to start with the first nominee. And some of these are kind of easy because, of course, we know the golden boot race. But it's a player that always up there in terms of goals in the last 2 seasons. And that's Jamal Calvin. 43 matches. So he was an Iron Man last year and played a lot of games. 3,433 minutes, 21 goals. He came close to getting a golden boot. He had a chance in the final. Never score, of course. This says no assists. I'm not sure that's correct. 45 total shots. 28 of those were on target. 6 yellow card. So yeah, you must know Calvin by now if you're a fan of the league. You know how he uses speed on that left foot of his to be deadly in front of goal. I felt that Cavalier could have utilized him a bit better sometime this season, because last year he would play on the right, the left, and through the middle. This year, he was stuck in one position on the right. I felt for majority of the year, so it never helped him. I still got 21 goals. So have to big up Calvin and have him as one of the best forward in the league. I can move on to Ball Pre-TV. Yo, big up my boss. Oh, man, take your time slot, because this is how you normally your time slot, So try to get this award thing out of the way, because that's something we try to do every year. Try to get the players them due, especially the top performing ones them. So big up yourself, boss. I said Calvin is the first nominee for forward of the year or strike of the year. The next one is, of course, everybody know who he is now. A lot of people who never know him last year know him now. So we can get this kicking. And the easiest name on the list is the Golden Boot winner, the Reggae Boy, Warner Dwayne Brown. It's a no-brainer that he's here, but more than the goals, what you guys are seeing for the Jamaica national team, him did that all season. All season did that for Arnett. A good example of him engine and keep pressing and the never give up attitude that he brings to a forward line is that big matchup, that big West Kingston derby against Tivoli at Stadium East, where he basically almost alone brought them back in that game and gave them the victory. And that was the game Steve McLaren came to watch. I'm quite sure that's where Steve McLaren decided the money of a part of the national team. 33 games, 2,608 minutes, 22 goals. So this one ahead of Calvin. And he had a knock in the playoffs, unfortunately, and never exactly could have added to this. So this was 22 in 39 games in the regular season. So he never added on in the. He didn't add any in the playoffs. 43 shots, 29 and those on target. Only 2 yellow cards despite him constantly pressing those back line. So yeah, we have not much more to say about Warner Brown. It's quite easy why he is considered top 5. And the only thing I can say about Warner Brown is that he's a poacher, but I still want him to be a bit more clinical in front of goal. I see, he's a man that will, because the work rate he does, he will get himself probably, let's say, 20 chances or 10 chances in a match and probably tuck away 2 or 3 of those. So if he can up the ratio, he will be at not world class, but he will be at a very good level, especially internationally. There's rumors that he will not be back. Very strong, credible sources that says he will not be back for Arnett. People are saying he will be in Serbia, but we'll wait and see how that go. But if he comes back, he will have that number 9 position to himself, because I think, Fabian Reed might come back, but let us see how it goes. But yeah, man, Warner Brown is, as the second nominee on this list. No, bro, I'll be later. I watch Club World Cup. Yeah, who's playing right now, Barprey? Because what, quarterfinals? No. Yeah, we catch a replay of those matches. But yeah, man, we tune in. We'll tune into your show later, All right, next player, next attacker. So that's 2 so far out of the 5. Another player who I was trying my best for campaign to get into the Trinidad matches, and he eventually got there. And I was hoping he impressed enough to try to get into the St. Vincent games. I feel that he will get there one day. Let me see if we can find him. The only Tivoli player I have here. Everybody must know this player as well by now. Just because I am free kick them alone, and free kicks alone will make you know about a while. Michaela Fuller, a rising star, one of the most improved along with Warner Brown last year, I felt. And Tivoli attack was nothing without Fuller, honestly. Although Anthony Nelson and Lennox Russell did their job as well, but Fuller was him close to the playoff spot. He played 40 matches, 3,239 minutes. So he played a lot despite coming back from a broken, well, not broken foot, but a severe injury he picked up in last year's playoff game. 11 goals, 2 assists, 26 shots, 14 on target, 6 yellow card. And he is the best free kick taker in the league. Right? Again, we have high hopes for him. What's his age? 2024, 2004. So he's very young still. He picked up a nasty injury in the last match against Mobile. So I'm not sure if that hurt him, like go on trials and stuff in the summer to get out of here. But hopefully he recovered enough. And if he's back in the JPL, of course, he's one of the main players. It is opportunity for watch entire scene. So Fuller is the third player I have here on the list of best forwards going forward, best forwards, best attackers. And yeah, we're going to move on to the fourth nominee. Yeah, let me see that. And I call this player the Mr. Consistent or the player of kin. I normally step up in the playoffs as well. And one of a real leader of him team as well. And that's Andre Fletcher. And I make a plea to Fletcher. You can't start the season time, boss. Like every year you start the season in October. What? Because I felt if he started in September, even near the goal scoring record, well, not the goal in boot, but we come closer to it. But yeah, man, Andre Fletcher, immense talent. Every year, one of my favorite Waters player, honestly. Just consistently, just lead in team. The way he play, it just sound like Waters rely so heavy on him. I must always step up to the plate and lead this attack for them. This year, I'm at 36 matches, 2,692 minutes, 14 goals, 2 assists. I think that assist is low. Give him more than that. 45 total shots. Is not a man who's afraid to pull the trigger. 31 of those were on target. Only 4 yellow card. Andre Fletcher, if you go into what a game at Jerusalem, Fletcher had the money you have to try watch. How him now play for Jamaica? Who, Andre Fletcher or Fuller? Edwards. I'm trying to remember. I think Andre Fletcher our cap. I think Andre Fletcher played for Jamaica already. Unless a different Fletcher in my team boat. This is where Bob Sports that come in handy, you know. Bob Sports like in Ghana. Trying to look it up. No, I don't see. You know, you never call up for the national team even once, or maybe it was youth football, the youth teams didn't get called up for. But yeah, oh, you're talking Fuller. Yeah, man. I was. Well, what going?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, man, you're my boss. What going, boss?
Bless up in a legend. I'm a legend. Bless up. We are it.
Yeah, man. I try. I must get the players them due, because you know the league don't really have an award ceremony for them, you know. So I'm gonna try to big them up for a good season.
Yeah, man. All right. You know you do the right thing, man. You see me? And big up to everybody in the chat. Big up everybody, people. I first Mr. JAMPL. I first you do a live.
Like this. Come now, we do like live matches and stuff. It's a second time we do a live show.
Okay, so yeah, I always say it until you come in for my show, bro. But you know, your channel actually one of my favorite, bro. Your work are one of my favorite. For listen, I can't know so I listen your video from start to finish and I get quality stuff, bro. So continue doing what you do. I have to say that right off. And just share to my channel, my community as well. You see me? So continue growing, bro, and continue putting in the work. And you don't know if we fancy do, you know, because we are fancy do. You see me? But as it relates to the award ceremony, the right thing, because I said the man them don't do it, so I guess I encourage it. So I'm there, listen. Who got call up? Who you that talk about? Look, we're getting a call up to the Reggae Boys. Who you on now?
Richard Edwards was saying he was wondering how Fuller, the killer Fuller, never get
Yeah.
called up, apart from the one game in Trinidad. So I was saying that I was pushing for him to. I was trying to make some talks on the ground to basically try to highlight how good he is and see if he can get a shot in the team, at least for St. Vincent. You know, after that, the competition stepped up after that, you know?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, the thing about Fuller, in all honesty, is that the position where I play, look upon a player like Tyrese Campbell, where actually not get a game in the Unity Cup, so it's kind of rough. But for me, I think he should be in and around the team, if you ask me. I think he should be in and around the team. I think the youth have a lot of talent and potential, and it shows. So it should be there. But then people are going to say you have Tyrese Campbell, people are going to say you have Norman Campbell, them a whole lot of. So that position that he plays, the competition for that place is kind of a lot. But I know that you're on the award ceremony, but one of the things I'm also want to ask you to help me and the public with is finding some central midfielders and not only focus on attackers. Because I see that you highlight a few attackers, but some central midfielders. I guess after you done the awards, award ceremony must go. I'm not crash it. I'm not doing like Kanye West out here. You get me? So when the award ceremony done, some honorable mentions.
But they actually went through the midfielders of the year. So they highlight at least 5 midfielders. But the issue is that, let me say, 4 out of the 5 I have, 3 out of the 5 I have here are like more on the defensive side. When I really have a good season in terms of playmakers, right?
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine, you know, because I'm gonna watch over about the video then. Since that because I just started watching and jump on said speed, so I'm gonna watch over about the video and see those central midfielders, because really and truly, I think that the fact that we're having central midfield issues in our national team, I don't think the coach should have any prejudice in where I'm finding solution from. But you can continue. We are on Andre Fletcher now.
Well, but
JAMPL.
Let's wrap up Andre Fletcher. What do you think about him game this past
Yo,
season?
JAMPL.
Yes,
question.
Yo,
big up King.
Big up, man.
Yo, the midfielder them. Can you just run through the 5 midfielder where you nominate, please?
Oh, see there, just say me watch it over back. I see him thing.
No man, me watch it, but me just want run it over back so me can think about something.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had Lucas Lima, Joshan Anglin, Siegel Knight, Dikaya Ellis, and Dwayne Allen.
Okay.
You get that, Bam?
Yeah. And the defenders them, please.
Joel Jones, Kyle Ming, Fitzroy Cummins, Josiah Trimingham, and Stephen Young.
What about? Oh, so you only pick central defenders?
Well, Kyle Ming plays a right back as well, but
yeah. What about Ainsworth? What about Ainsworth?
Really stand out to me this season, really.
I was asking you about Ainsworth.
JAMPL, do something for me, please. Me know we're not slow on the show, but you can just put them in the comment section as well, so we can have them, because me know you just said them, but just put right them in the comment section so we can have them. Yeah, man.
Different.
Yeah. What about Ainsworth for real?
I was asking you about Ainsworth.
Yeah.
To me, Ainsworth was because consistently Ainsworth, I wanted more from Ainsworth, to be honest. My most Cavalier team this sleepwalk the regular season, you know. I really play off and step up, you know. And Ainsworth was better like in the Caribbean Cup, but we can't really count that here in the JPL thing. So he had an okay season, but to dislodge these top 5 and how good they were consistently, we can't really bring him in the top 5. You hear me?
Okay. We need to see the top 5 for actually have a look back on it.
Okay, bro. I don't think I necessarily agree with you though, but I thought Ainsworth was pretty solid throughout the season.
No, it was solid. You know, it was solid. But out of the top 5.
Also, I thought he was arguably one of the best left backs in the league. So I was thinking if you were doing defenders, I was thinking you'd have a mixture, like maybe 2 or 3 central defenders, 2 right back, 2 left back. But in your list, he didn't have any left backs at all.
But Bam,
Yeah,
here's
because sorry,
what me
go ahead,
suggest
King.
then. Me that suggest then say make him run the award ceremony and then we'll give honorable mentions. Or we can give our 5 in each position then. You get me? I said,
Yeah,
and
no
we can
problem.
challenge him. Make him run it. And then we give. Come more here, more here and then we.
All right, run it. You can't finish. You start back from Fletcher now when you finish up.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. So type the list on King. I'm gonna just wrap up. So the last striker or forward or attacker I have is somebody who sneak into it. Honestly, we never have in the top 5 until the playoff and the finals, and that is Cavaliers. Of course, I'm finding very easy to find him here. You almost know what I talk about.
That's Stein.
No man, what's Stein? Stein was good enough, but not Stein. Busy, doing busy Atkinson.
Yeah. Busy really had an excellent playoffs. I think he was the MVP of the playoffs.
Exactly.
For the playoffs?
Exactly. The playoff is what really got him into my top 5. And while some people saying it's unfair for his playoffs only, but again, those are the hardest games of the season, and he was by far the best player in the playoffs. He had a good season overall, but the playoff topped off for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, remember saying that, like the NBA, the man of the season are basically who are the player MVP for the playoffs, Or well, MVP of the finals, but then really and truly, if you win MVP for the playoffs, you're the man. You could have good till in the season, and when it matters the most, and him did show up when it matters the most, so you have to give him that, isn't it?
Brian gone? Whatever him take on it. But yeah, that's precisely King, because if there was a MVP for the playoff, it would have easily been him. And while he could have done more in the regular season, but he was kind of injured, in battle a lot of injuries. But when he did play, he made Cavalier a different team. So I have to give him props. But especially for how he performed in the playoffs, you just feel that off the top of the top, boss. So you want to run over the top 5 forwards again?
Sure.
All right, so we have Jamal Calvin, Warner.
Wait on my service.
Hold on, what is happening? My team mic drop out. Yeah, sorry.
Whatever my service.
Warner Brown, Dekela Fuller, Andre Fletcher.
Forwards. Hold on, I type it as you go. Calvin, Brown. Yeah. Fuller.
Andre Fletcher. And Busy.
That's JAMPL.
So who would you give out of those 5?
5 forwards them. Alright, so here's the thing. I kinda have a real liking to him injured. So him injured out. I know people are gonna say him injured for the latter part of the season, honestly, but let me go for this. Let me actually look at it in totality so I know that I know. So the 4 of them, okay with majority of them. I'm not even a question Fletcher, because I'm actually a fan of Andre Fletcher as well. I have a sweet left foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear man. Go on, man.
Yeah, so I like your top 5 in all honesty, and you can't there's not a lot of players you can really change from it. Calvin speak for himself. Warner Brown leading goal scorer speak for himself. Fuller again, probably the most exciting winger. Attacker today. Busy again, you can say based on his post-season form. But Fletcher, probably I missed the explanation with Fletcher because I was joining. But Andre Fletcher. I would have said Andre
Fletcher is one that you have to really be keeping up with the league every week, because Waterhouse were dead and buried until Fletcher decided basically it was almost single-handedly lead them up the table, almost get them in the playoffs, because he scored every week especially in some tough crunching matches, the type of goals he was scoring and the assist he was doing as well. So if he not score, he do assist. If not now go on for the attack, him find a way to score from a free kick. At 14 goals him end up with. I felt just one of the best attackers in the top 5, especially this season.
No, I'm a huge Andre Fletcher fan, don't get me wrong, but Shaniel Thomas, I think if he wasn't injured for the playoffs, I think maybe he'd do a lot better. I don't know if, because me's an overall fan of him game, yeah, I actually rate Fletcher a lot, don't get me wrong, but I just rate Thomas a little bit more. I rate Thomas a little bit more, Shaniel Thomas, and probably he's not there because he was injured for the playoffs. But if it was a head-to-head between Shaniel Thomas and Andre Fletcher for me, I go with Shaniel Thomas because he's a player that I prefer personally. I like his style of play.
Kin is a very fair take. I rate it's like an honorable mention. Shaniel is just there as well. But two major injuries this season kind of kill him chances, mate. Okay, I had 2 big injuries. So right in the middle when he was getting to peak form, and then right at the playoff when they need him the most. So just because of the sheer consistency that Fletcher had, he played consistency he had, I would have to give Fletcher over him. But if Shaniel probably wasn't injured, he would not be in this top 5.
Yeah, definitely. But as I said, that would have been the only one. And I try to be fair, as I tell you, because I really rate Fletcher as well. But somehow I couldn't left out Chuppy out of it. Honestly, I couldn't left out Chuppy out of it.
Yeah, man. I understand. And I have to give him props for real. And I hope him stay injury-free for the upcoming season. But all right. So I'm going to just run through the awards again for your Kin. Goalkeeper of the year, it was between SHAQUAN Davis, Roger Williams, Benjamin Williams, Daniel Russell, and Carl Holmes. We give SHAQUAN Davis the award.
Yeah, that's straightforward because I don't think Wells could have been there. Yeah, that kind of straightforward. That speaks for itself, to be honest.
All right. The defenders as Joel Jones, Kyle Ming, Fitzroy Cummins, Josiah Trimenham, and Stephen Young. This one was very close between basically 4 to 5, but we ended up going with Kyle Ming as the best defender.
Probably because of versatility.
He played at a high level in both centre back and right back.
And so, you know what amazing? Well, give me the defenders name again, because that's the thing. You had King in there?
No, Richard King again. Cavalier defense was not that good in the regular season. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
They went what? There was a record 14 games without a clean sheet. They were not that good, The playoffs though, them turned on.
Yeah, but are you judging individuals by a team performance though? Because
individually watching them week in, week out, they were okay. They were better. They were better in the Caribbean Cup and the CONCACAF Cup.
Yeah, I would say personally it would be unfair for actually have a top 5 and not have Richard King in there. It's
not about name sometimes, It's on sheer performance alone. Out of 39 games plus 5 in playoff, King had an okay season. I don't think he had a brilliant season.
And you're saying that those 5 defenders had better season than Richard King individually?
Yeah, man. Consistently, yes.
Well, if you was to say you had legend in JAMPL, you had legend.
Well, I don't know about legend, but this, in my opinion, this share in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because again, King could have stepped it up, I felt, but he just never feel like he never need to. You understand? So they really never played to the optimum best, I felt, this season. Until the playoff.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right, I'm just go through midfield quick. I'm just have to wrap up, unfortunately. Your show. What are your show start, by the way?
No, man, I don't watch ball first, man. I'll probably even do the show tomorrow. It's not, no, do your thing, man.
All right, boss. All right, so midfield again was Lucas Lima, Joshan Anglin, Siegel Knight, Mikael Ellis, and Dwayne Allen. And again, this was another tough group. We get a slight edge to Lucas Lima for that one, yeah.
Only player I'm not so familiar with is Seagull Knight though.
I want him underrated, yeah.
More United?
Yep.
Oh, I'm very underrated because I'm like, why am I not hear him name called that often though?
How much more players here in names they call?
Yeah, but it's like even
overall, they're not, but they are the best defensive record, you know. The defensive record was that good, and one of the reasons was because Knight, as a defensive midfielder, did a lot of the dirty work and mop up in front end defense.
Okay, so you had Seagull Knight as a 6. Angling kind of move away from being just a 6. It seems like more this is like a number 8, but we know Sam can play the number 6 role. Where is the Angling best position though?
Best position? Be honest to you, I think he's better as a number 8
than a 6.
Hold on, just a minute.
No problem. I don't know. I think Angling. I think one of the tricks them that.
King, you can hold on the fort for 5 minutes for me.
Yeah, man. Angling, man. One of the things them that I think that. One of the tricks I think the coach missed, and again, I know a lot of people are gonna say the solution is not necessarily gonna be found from JPL, but one of the things that I want to see, I'm gonna say this publicly on my show, and I said it, and I'm saying it here. As I say, I prefer to see even Sule Makala playing in midfield than defenders, than the coach using defenders, because again, the coach tried to go back with Damien Nanalo centre half to play defense. Even Latibo there, which is an out and out defender. For me, I'd rather the coach use a out and out midfielder that's playing midfield, game in, game out, even if it's from the JPL, in my opinion. And that's how I see it personally. So yeah, that's how I see it. So one of the tricks is Angling. I've never seen Josh and Angling had a bad game for Jamaica. Never. Like, probably not even see him have a bad game every time I'm watching. And probably I'm watching Angling with a rose-tinted glass. So probably I'm such a big fan as I'm watching. But by the way, big up everybody in the comment section. Big up yourself, Richard Edwards. A sharp man that is it the sharp man, Richard Edwards, a real legend. Big up yourself. Travis Spencer, big up yourself as usual. You me? But JAMPL need to start this some more live. Need to start this
yeah, like not for start, not get used to it. But I hear me better. I'm change the mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear it clear.
Yeah, man, cause the mic, as you can see, the camera all dash itself last minute. Me no want to the camera. So equipment there not me, you know.
Okay, yeah, man, but you don't know you have the knowledge, you know, bro. I know they want the knowledge said way. So
I'm here you take on Angling. All right, I'm tell you why Angling slightly lose this for me. Let me see if we can bring it up back. Angling disciplinary record need to clean up. 4 yellow cards and 10 yellow cards and 4 red cards this season.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So that knocked him down a peg for me.
But even though it's a lot, you know, I was listening Manningsman show yesterday. Sad that I didn't get to join because I really want to join yesterday. But they really not vibe. But he was saying that one of the things that's missing from the team is somebody to put their foot in. And again, for me, I miss him get the right name, Rooney. I think those players that play on the edge, we need some of them players that back there, the man where really play on the edge, where really are put on a tackle. Because I remember a video that I posted about when I went to watch the open training. And I titled that video "Tackles Flying." And we look back on who that made the tackle them. It was Josh and Angling. And for me, I like that. I like players when I'm afraid for put a foot in. I like players when afraid for for me, I call it hard tackle. You get me? I say tackle hard, rough up. There's a difference between roughness and wildness. You get me? I say, and I don't see him as a wild player. I just see him as a rough player. And most
No,
people get that
I
mixed
I
up.
don't think he's wild. I don't think he's wild either, no. But him still need to probably clean up that because in crucial games this year, him get the record and him put more present under trouble. So him still need to clean it up a bit, you know. But you're right, that tenacity is missing in the regular boys midfield big time. Like even though I like him against when he play with Hayden, right? And even if we come off the bench, we'll probably give us some for close out a game. I think he can help the team because we don't have no other number eights like him, I feel, in the team. Because we have what? We have Bobby Reed and we have Russell, who are like ball players, really, not really crunching tacklers in the midfield. So you're right. 'Cause I heard management take on it as well, you know, and when I really think about it, and think about it, Kin, all those times we went to the training them. Apart from angling, you hear anybody really talking in the training them like a get at each other or nothing like that? You hear them talking?
No, I heard management with it as well, and I'm like, yo, from the small sample size that I have, I really think he's on to something, and he's around the team even more than us. So I'm like, say management is on to something, and I think Anglin, I think he's a player that should be in and around the team, especially when we need solutions in that era. But again, I think it's much bigger than football with him, and from the sources I've heard, I think JFF and the team just need to decide, say, them need to do what them need to do and get Anglin there. Because I think he can form a part of the solution. And a part of the solution I'm thinking is that the coach not necessarily think that some players can be a single pivot. And I've been running with this like all week since I start the back videos and since me the coach don't trust some central midfielders to be a single pivot, and I understand. And enough coach not trust some players to be a standalone number 6. Now to compensate to that is you can't play a double pivot, and I keep on saying that, and I think that's what we did. Why we look better when the coach made a tactical change on the 28th minute, going to a double pivot also helps. Yeah, going changing the formation helps free up some spaces on the wing, etc. Help with us defending the Panamanian team. But what it also does, it makes us go to a double pivot. Using a 4-2-3-1 also makes you have a double pivot. So every time you need a standalone number 6. So if you don't have one player that can play a standalone number 6 in his eye, I think even an Anglin for me would be a ideal player to play in a double pivot instead of using defenders. I'm tired of seeing defenders in that role. So for me, JAMPL, I think that he can form a part of the solutions, in my opinion.
Well, at the very least, he can't walk with 5 midfielders going anywhere anymore. That not gonna sense.
No.
And Busy is not a midfielder.
Exactly. So
I really 4 midfielders in walk with the World Cup qualifiers and World Cup. That can't work.
4 and 2 injured.
And then 2 get injured. You get me? That really kill me, But in terms of you're saying as a single pivot, McLaren made it clear that when he just came, he made it clear on why he wanted Hayden. That's how his style of football is. The way he likes to play, he want that number 6 like that does that kind of work. And Hayden is not there. There's nobody else in the pool at the moment who can play the single pivot double 6. But I also agree with you because the few times under Coach Grimmy that we really look like a complete team is the double pivot with Aaron.
Yeah, you have to be flexible. You can't have one size fit all as a coach. That's part of coaching. And again, you have to find the players that can also help to form the solution that you need. And for me, like the way I'm not a prejudice against who that midfielder or who those midfielders are. I just want midfielders where in a midfield mode for a season, and you don't know, we see those players literally playing a whole season. And again, I think the defenders would have been in defensive mode or in a defender. You can't play a whole season as a defender and then you're going to expect that you're going to turn it on and show defenders to go play midfield. So for me, again, if Dwayne Allen, for instance, made the team, personally, I'm not a problem. I know a lot of people like I say, yo, Dwayne Allen, I'm not ready because him come from JP. That's not me, never. Never. If a solution, I'm in a business where the solution fall from. And those people will usually talk, so JAMPL, usually people don't actually watch JPL week in, week out. So
a lot of them,
yeah, so for me, and again, from a player farmer solution, say Richard King, perfect example. He provided a solution when we needed one. And nobody can talk about him anymore. So even Dwayne Allen, that's a midfielder that's playing midfield week in, week out. If he's to be in the team, I'd rather see him in the team playing midfield than any defenders you're going to put in a midfield. And let me say this as well, because I've been saying this. I just think Sir Richard King are the best defender we can play midfield, and we never ever see that yet. So I gotta move on. Come on, I want to preach on these things. I've been a preacher.
Yeah, well, you see, bring up some interesting. I will admit, if I had to choose between Lowe and King in midfield, but I go with King. Because
yeah,
King,
but I take it a step further. If I have to choose between Lati and King, I'm choosing King again.
the only reason when I mentioned Lati, because Lati actually have experience playing there. It's not like Lati never played there before for club and country. You get me? That's the only reason I never mentioned Lati there. But Lati is not necessarily the answer either. Right?
And if he's not the answer, why keep trying it and trying it again? Why not try King to see if King might be the answer? We don't know. No, people are going to say King is not the answer either, but we don't know. We have never seen it. You might try it and figure say that him become the answer. We don't know. But all I know is that I've seen that trick over and over, and we know for a fact that that's not the answer. Try something new. Definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results, and that's what we have been doing. So me take it one step further. I know a lot of people. I saw people reason, everybody reasons to say that King is Lowe is not the answer, and they rather see King than Lowe. But me, I tell you personally, I rather see King than Lati. Personally, I rather see King than Lati in that midfield.
I can't argue with that point, because it's clear that Lati have his in limitations, right? Especially if we are going forward, it might be limitation. But even defensively in that midfield, for him to get around the park, him look limited. So anyway, but as the referee said, I don't want to say any more defenders there. We have to find. I know the pool shallow when it comes to the midfield, but we have to try to find some players there. And what's your take on Brandon Cover? Why you think Brandon Cover never get a chance really as a specialist? See them.
Honestly, I think he played a lot of the season at right back.
Right back. Okay.
So I think that there might be an issue there with him in midfield. But again, he is a specialist. See them. He played a lot of youth football and coming through a lot of previous seasons in midfield. So again, I would rather see him there. But for me, I don't care what the solution form from, The solution just need to form from actual midfielders who know the role, understand the role, have played the role for more than just a handful of games. I think that's the solution I form from. I hate putting we call it square pegs in round holes and asking them to be the solution. We've seen this already. So if a Brandon Cover should have gotten the opportunity, I would have wanted to see it. For me, I'm not the coach. I'm not seeing training sessions. We are not the coach as fans. We can't see the training sessions. So we are not privy to seeing these players. So why not allow us to see them then and say, all right, this don't work? Because at the same time, what you're allowing us to see, it's still not working. And we have to see this over and over. And we have to pay our money to keep our cable bill on, for even stream it. We have to pay our money for keep our internet bill on for streaming. We have to pay our money for have cable for watch it. And we have to pay our money for going at the stands. Or we have to give up with time, even if we get free pass, for going at the stands for watch it. So at the end of the day, we are stakeholders and we are invested emotionally and otherwise. It's only right for us to see something different and see if it really doesn't work. But we don't see these things don't work. We don't see a Dwayne Allen in a midfield. We don't see a Richard King in a midfield. We don't see a Brandon Cover in a midfield. So the only thing we see a defenders in a midfield, and I'm sick and tired of it, frankly. I'm not lying. Sick and tired of it.
Or at least, as you said, switch your formation style and play double pivot. At least that,
Something.
We don't want to derail the thing. There's one more take more ask about your kid. You're okay with Steve McLaren staying on as coach?
Personally, it's tricky because of the timing, right? Because if you're gonna do it, you have to do it now. And I think even doing it now is kind of too late. So it's kind of an unstyled kind of thing. And again, I've seen a lot from Steve McLaren that there's a lot of pros with Steve McLaren, a lot of pros. Because if you do pro, you have to do a pros and con analysis, and you'll find a lot of pros with Steve McLaren. You'll find a lot of cons as well, because I think he really showed that certain things that we, the fans, would have already learned, he would have to go learn for himself. And it's kind of weird because we'd have already learned that these things don't work, and we see him do it again for realize that it don't work now. So when I read up the pros and the cons, I think I've seen enough to say, yeah, blind faith me I forgot have, but I forgot have blind faith and stick with him and just trust that he would have really learned. He would have really learned and just figure, say, what happened at the Gold Cup, you just draw a line through it and just use it as, the L's as lessons. You have to take the L's as lessons, and taking the L's as lessons now, his job is to find solutions. And one of his pros is his ability to bring in new players from the diaspora. And I think probably some of the answers we can find is probably some of the players that he will be recruiting. Or here's 4 new players that will come September, but we have been hearing about 4 new players coming in. But for me, it's not even about recruiting alone. It's about finding solutions in where he needs to find a solution. And I don't think, for me, he has done a great job in that. He has bringing in a few players, at least one player every single window. But it needs to be players that can provide the solution in the areas that we need. And especially in the central midfield role. And you must understand, say, the solution can't keep coming or trying to come from. I sound like a scratch record for say it again. From defense. So you have to realize, say, if he can't find the central midfielders from the diaspora, and deliberately as a central midfielders and not CDM. Because again, me understand, say, if you can't find a 6, you can use two 6s that are central midfielders and not necessarily number 6. You can find 2 players that are out and out number 8s and put them for the play as a double pivot. So that's why I'm keep on saying central midfielders. I deliberately say this. So for me, I hope that he would have learned, and I hope that he can find solution. So for me, it's not Steve McLaren out. Because if I'm to say Steve McLaren out, I would have to try and find solutions that can hit the ground running right now. And the truth is, I can't find any solution that will definitely, I would say, 100% sure say I'm going to hit the ground running right now. I think if any of those coach come in, they would have to go through a learning phase, and we not have the teething process phase to go through no more. So we just have to say, say, a coach had to learn it, and he must go show him solutions now, because I just say it.
Boss, I completely agree with basically everything you said. If it wasn't for the timing, I think he would have walked.
Yeah, but definitely.
Again, it don't make sense to me with 3 months left in the campaign, now the cycle, get a brand new coach right now, unfortunately. So we're stuck with him. But
don't get me wrong, wait, let me say this and this again. Don't get me wrong, if I don't get 6 points from my first 2 games, he got to go. He got to go. If he got to go. If I don't get 6 points from my first 2 games.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, because if we can't get 6 against Bermuda, and this important, and then what we have Bermuda and then Trinidad
at home.
Yeah.
That's all. Trinidad at home, we can't drop no points right there. So make us start fret now. I'm not have no finger near it. He got to go. You have a
point. So we will see. Hopefully it work out. We'll be there in the trenches, for the conferences and behind the training and all that. All right, but let me wrap up this now. We're on forwards. Did you tell me who you like not to go to the 5?
Out of the 5, it's hard for Goron Warner Brown. Very, very hard for Goron Warner Brown in terms of what he did, being the leading goal scorer for the league, and then actually getting the opportunity with the reggae national team, and actually hasn't put much of foot wrong, except probably the last game when people have beat him for say at least the opportunity. Should have at least hit the target. for me, I have to at least hit the target. Me, I say I have to score that because it's in the 6-yard box. So any forward supposed to be scoring, much less hitting the target. So other than that, I don't think he had put a foot wrong previously with the opportunity when get with the national team, but with the league itself, to be the leading goal scorer, get the opportunity to play for the Reggae Boys and come back and hit the ground, literally hit the ground how he did. Because remember, when he got his first call up, he came back and he went on another streak of scoring again.
Yep, he did.
So, for me, I can't see past Warner Brown.
Yeah, man, full agreement. Warner Brown is my pick for attacker of the season. It's more than the goals. The work rate, the consistent work rate he played throughout the entire season. He hardly missed a game as well.
Exactly.
You got me? To give him team the opportunity and create chances up front was just immense. And I thought that alone, well, not alone, but it helped him get over someone like Calvin, who was only one goal short of him in the Golden Boot. So yeah, we want to run the attack of the season. All right, Kin. We're gonna wrap up with the bigger one now, the player of the season. I don't have any nominees. Just want to hear your take. Who to you is the player of the season that just ended in May? So it can even be somebody who's not even part of nominations at all or anything. Gary McKinn? I can step away for a minute. So how I did this last year is that I normally, in terms of the category, had the winners of each category be as the nominees. Like, so SHAQUAN will be up for player of the season because he's the goalkeeper of the year. I'd have Kyle Ming, and I'd have Lucas Lima, and I'd have Warner Brown. But just like we just think it was easy to give Warner Brown the striker of the year, I personally also believe that Warner Brown is the player of the season. And again, it is because of the overall package that he brought this season and had a consistent high level. He did it. Of course, we can't call what he did for Jamaica in it, but that what he did for Jamaica it showed exactly what he brought to JPL last season. So for me, Warner Brown is the player of the season. Ken, are you back? You can give me your take?
Yeah, man, I'm back, but I don't know how the laptop me have to use because my phone actually dead. You hear me?
Yeah, man, I hear you, man.
Okay, good. Yeah, my phone actually dead. Me hear my phone a fry and I wonder what fry saying. My phone actually dead.
Phone there fry.
Yeah, the phone that fry star. But yeah, me I listen to you though. Me I listen to you in terms of you're saying that you have to select from basically the winners of each.
No. I'm saying that helps narrow down my pick, but it don't have to be from those categories. Because
Okay.
the reason I mention it because you hardly see a goalkeeper win player of the season, and I think that's unfair. I think a goalkeeper can be player of the season. So that's the only reason I mentioned something like that. You understand?
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why I'm saying it could be somebody I did not even name at all tonight. Who is your player of the season?
That's the thing because you don't have Richard King in there.
You think Richard King is the player of the season?
No, so all right. So for me, it is hard to give a player of the season to a player that didn't actually win the championship. 9 times out of 10, the player that gets player of the season is a player that wins the championship. And I said this also.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there are more than one Cavalier player in the national team probably also comes from the fact that they would have been the winning team. Because I think that, for example, if I did Mount Pleasant win it and you see more than one Mount Pleasant player on the team, you could understand. Because usually, I saw it go, even at EPL, I guess if EPL probably True City don't have no bag of English baller, but that's usually the case. Germany, again, I expect a lot of the team to make up from Bayern Munich, etc. So on and so forth. Now, with that said, with that said, individual performance, as I say, you don't even think Richard King had that season. But again, probably me watch Richard King with rose tinted glasses, and I didn't watch as much of the game as you, to be honest. I didn't. So
Again, I would say, well, no, I just want to make this distinction, though. You know, Richard Keane was really good, especially in that second semi-final, second leg. He was excellent. He was back to normal self in the playoff. But 39 games in the regular season, in this ghost walk through it.
yeah, I think that's the thing. Him go so actually based on, I think we all could understand that the level. It's just the level that I think he's above the level, and I think it shows that he got the contract, right? But for me, as I say, I'm watching with rose tinted glasses, so it have to be between, for me, Richard King, Warner Brown. Have to be between Richard King, Warner Brown for me, because he was busy just the playoffs, and I think he didn't have just the playoffs, but with the playoffs, I think he was different level. So he was player of the playoffs for me, but that would be between Richard King and Warner Brown. And
Right.
for me, I give Richard King based on the fact that he would have been the one that took home the championship. So it's probably biased, but that's my bias. That's my bias award. Him not the man will not even make none of the runs, but that are my bias.
Yeah, man, I ain't entitled to it, man. No, what's your face? But yeah, at least he put Warner Brown there as well. So it's not like it consider the ball I thought. Travis Besson said his player of the season is Warner Brown. Big up yourself, Declan Stennett. He says his player is Warner Brown as well. And I think Richard Brown also said Warner Brown. Richard Edwards. I think he said Warner Brown as well, I think. So yeah, I think most people will give Warner Brown. I just want to make the distinction. Say it shouldn't really come down just because of the goals he scored alone.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
that means that every year in every league and everywhere the golden boot's gonna be the best player. And that's how it go.
Yeah.
So that's why I mentioned SHAQUAN Davis, because he could a goalkeeper. I feel a goalkeeper can be, because
but remember, say you have to caveat the fact that SHAQUAN actually lost his spot in the latter part. So I didn't regain his spot in the latter part. So that you have to caveat that as well.
Well, that was not really down to performance. That was more disciplinary issues.
Discipline issues. Let's just say discipline or not. Yeah. And also remember that he did not save any of the penalties.
The penalties
that he got subbed down to save. So at the end of and he didn't win. For me, again, my case, my case is I probably get it from one of the winners of the competition, because again, remember the Ballon d'Or people have the reasoning that Ballon d'Or usually comes from the Champions League winner, and the best players, the player of the year, actually usually come from the winner of the league or the leading goal scorer from the league, to be honest. If that leading goal scorer actually scored so much goals. So I think one year Suarez win EPL player of the year because he scored so much goals. Warner Brown did score a lot of goals, but it was one more than Calvin.
One more than Calvin.
If Warner Brown scored 30 odd goals and zone, I say, all right, you have to give me. You get me? I say, but he could have scored, or should have scored more goals. It would have been a no-brainer. So for me, I try to give it from a player that actually won the league. I try to be fair. And for me, I think even though his performance throughout the season, as you say, might have been a bit inconsistent based on the fact that him just playing nonchalant. And for me personally, again, as I say, I don't have a large sample size, but the sample size that I have and how I view Richard King, I think is how people describe Virgil van Dijk, to say that him look nonchalant because he goes through the motion at time. And I think people mistake that for say to judge him. And probably because I am also Virgil van Dijk's biggest supporter.
Of course, as a Liverpool man, of course.
Yeah. So as I say, I'm a bias. I call out my biasness, because the truth is, the whole we have a biasness, somehow we just don't admit it. You get me? I say? So I have to know, say me I walk with bias in my judgment. and still try to be as objective as possible and still try to show the logical part that I would have followed to give my pick.
All right, boss. Fair enough. But I'm gonna say, all right. So I think general consensus amongst all of us here, we'll give Warner Brown the edge. Keane has Richard Keane as his, but at least he mentioned Warner Brown as well. So we'll take that. Keane is an excellent player, so don't get me wrong. You know, and I hope, and I really hope him start and matched up in a Scotland. So when Scotland start? Late July, right?
I don't know when the league will start exactly, but soon
early August. Yeah, early August.
Looking at it.
So hopefully, and I heard them play a back three in that team, you know, so he should settle in good.
Yeah. Yeah, but nice show as usual, though, bro. And nice takes as usual.
Kid, 2 hours not there, and people get out of respect, man. Thanks for the strength. And is it not stream tonight?
I might not. Looking at the time, I don't know. I was supposed to do a giant show with NICKLYE, so I'm a batch dead, so I don't even know if him link me. Link all Ryan and so I don't know who link my back yet. My batch got dead now. So I'll see. I'll probably if I will do a lateness is greatness show or do a video or something. I'll see. Early August in Scotland.
Yeah, suspense is early August. Yeah, man. So we'll go watch the boss. Turn up on them in Scotland there.
Yeah.
All right, kid, but yeah, man. Same time. Yeah, man. Respect for forward through, and respect to Unseen who came in the beginning, and respect to Bomb Sports who said him gonna break some news, but then him gone. So I'm not sure if get a late call for breaking news. But you know, listen, follow Bomb Sports, follow Kid, follow Ball Pre TV guys, and follow Unseen Sports. Just their content is just as good and better. So follow them as well. Big up the comment section. Travis Ever pass through, big up. Duplan pass through. Richard Edwards, big up yourself. And yeah, I'm not sure I'll do another one of these, but they want to really get the awards. The Reggae Boys took over June, so we never got a chance to build a video for these things, right? You know, Reggae Boys had to take over things, and if they never jump out their first round, maybe they're still playing in the Gold Cup now.
Maybe.
Yeah, because Guatemala made it to the semi-final. Interesting.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. It was very interesting to me as well. Very interesting. Honduras also punch above their weight. So yeah, very interesting. And probably we could have made it to the finals. Who knows?
Ah boy, that's never a headache, man. I'm gonna say, me join upon your show, then we are Reggae Boys, guys. I headache that too. So
yeah, man. A lot of content that come up. A lot.
Okay, good. All right, guys, my call today here. Again, Warner Brown is the player of the season, most according to me and most here. So big up yourself, Warner Brown. I doubt he will be back, you know, because Spencer mentioned it. Rumor is that he's going to Serbia. So we will see. So we might have a new winner this coming season as the player of the season. But all right, guys, big up on yourself. For great JPL content, you're already the right place. JAMPL FAN. YouTube, big up on yourself.
Big up.